in this business bite on the power of leadership, we're looking at point number 7. We've already covered the first 6 points in the previous videos. Number 7 is change and transition. With the growth of social media and the recession, at the same time, the way we buy, the way we research, the way we do things as a business and in life has changed and will never go back the same way. And businesses need to change and they need to transition. There's always new opportunities to innovate, to look at the ways of systems to be more efficient and more careful. I've just staggered by how many people I deal with in business that seem to complicate simple processes. We need to understand things can't stay the same. They're going to change and we need to change. And we have to let go before we can take on new things. But sometimes when we take on something new, we've got our hand still back there holding the old way. We've got to let go of that and move forward into the new ways of doing things. We can't hold on to the past while we're still taking hold of the new. And that may be a new product. It may be you ditching a product that you invented that's no longer relevant, that the market doesn't want any longer. Businesses have moved on because someone has come up with a simpler way of using a system, a low-cost way of doing it, but we're trying to hang on to the old way, the old past. As a leader, we've got to be the ones who start challenging our people to think of new ways of looking at it, even investigating new ways and bring to the table to allow our people to break out of what they're traditionally doing. And the biggest issue in businesses and in not-for-profit organisations is what I call gatekeepers. They're the people down the line that when you introduce something new, a contact, they put up the gates and they eventually, by a process, filter them out and get rid of them altogether. When you should have been embraced, they get threatened by these outside people when they should embrace it because they're only going to grow with this and they're going to be able to bring great input into the business. And I've seen so many businesses stalled because their own people will not embrace the need to change because we only want to deal with the familiar. So number 8, in terms of the power of leadership, I want to share is develop a yes face. I use this a lot in my talks, but are you someone who's into good news or are you always good grief with any news that's announced? And there's a story told of a father and a son who was climbing through the mountains on a track, and the son raced ahead and he slipped off the side, but he grabbed a branch about 2 meters down and his father eventually caught up. But before he did, the son, as soon as he slipped and grabbed that branch, called out, "Help!" And he heard this voice come back, "Help!" And he said, the boy said, "Who's that?" And the voice said, "Who's that?" So when the father got there and he lifted the son up, he said to his father, "Who's that out there?" And the father said, "Well, that's an echo, which you get when you're often in the mountains." He said, "Let me show you." And the father called out, "You're hopeless," and came back, "You're hopeless." And the father then said, "You're never going to be any good," and came back, "You're not going to be any good." And he said, "That's a bit like life, son. When you throw something out, that's what's going to come back." So learn to be an encourager, learn to be a positive person. Too many business people are so affected by the news, financial cash flow issues, difficult clients, difficult staff, some obstacles, some issue. They're always going to be there, but learn to develop a yes face. So cut some of the negative stuff and replace it with some encouraging and positive things, because what you sow, you're going to reap. Number 9, learn to bridge the gap. Sometimes between you and your staff and you and the family, there seems to have been a gap developed over an issue, could be an attitude. You need to be a bridge builder. It takes one step at a time. In a passage in the Old Testament, it says, "Don't despise the stay of small beginnings." So let me share you a story. There was a sewer worker in Paris many years ago, because Paris was regarded as a dark, dingy city. It's become the city of lights, and I've seen the photographs of the differences. And it all started by a sewer worker who went to the local council to get approval to change every light globe, one globe at a time, a small beginning. And over quite some time, Paris turned into a city of lights just through this one process. So when you start, you're not going to see immediate great results, but just one thank you, one encouragement, one positive word to a staff member and even to a client or someone in your family will start over time to see a change. I was walking one morning and I met this old Chinese gentleman who had his head down, never looked up, and one morning I said good morning, he never had a reaction. So I thought I'll keep trying this. For 2 weeks I did this every day, and eventually his head popped up with a big grin and said good morning, and I thought, yes, we've had a win. And then every day from that time onwards he always had a smile and a grin. So what we send out is going to come back to us. So thank you. I hope you've enjoyed another Business Bite.